العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Inshallah, our next part of this beautiful program, inshallah, people can begin to take their seats. Inshallah, can begin to take a seat. Inshallah ta'ala. Our next speaker, our next performer is a individual who is reviving a tradition that was very common amongst the early Muslims, amongst the Arabs. They were known for being expert poets, and they were known for people who could, on the spot, start to rhyme. And this is something that, alhamdulillah, is still alive now in many parts of the world. And in Yemen, where I spent a few years, at a wedding, we saw two individuals from a tribe who, as part of entertainment, would, for lack of a better word, rap against each other in a beautiful way. And it was something that I don't know if they have a street word for it now. Battle rap. Alright, there we go, battle rap. And this is something I saw on TV in a wedding. Two people doing battle rap. And this is something that's been passed down through the generations. It's not something new. However, our dear friend, Amir, Amir Sulaiman, is somebody who's reviving this tradition, inshallah, in the Muslim lands, particularly, inshallah, in the Western Hemisphere, inshallah. So, please take your seats, inshallah. And there's something very important to know about our dear friend here, is that he speaks from the heart. He speaks from the heart, and what we've learned from our ulama and our traditions, that which comes from the heart will penetrate the heart. So you need to pay particular attention to the words, because these words are quick and fast, inshallah, and listen with an open heart, so you can take in what he has to say from his heart, inshallah ta'ala. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, without further ado.
It's my pleasure to be here with you. My name is Amir, Sulaiman. I'm going to recite some poems, inshallah. Loneliness keeps me company when I'm alone. And most times that is enough. Often I have no home. The soul's rolling stone of vagabond, roaming the mind's countryside, robbing the settlers of their thoughts. The sun has darkened my neck, and the dust has darkened my shoes. I'm a drifter, having occasional, short-lived, but passionate romances with the common ideas of the common folk. But when I'm still, I can feel the internal, infernal burn of the companionship of words. I stand on the edge of something, looking into the depths of nothing. This is where I find myself, my test, and inspiration. Some may call it a meditation. For me, it's more like a conversation. It's simply the opening of oneself to oneself. It is to undress the ugliness of last year, the progress of the present. It is to dig in the graveyard of your youthful aspirations and excavate the decaying carcass of your ideal. I'm not a hero, and I'm going to die soon. So I may never be a hero and die the death of regular man. This compels me to the road again, running from home to home and back again. My friends are these abstract ideas that entertain. My home is a place I must have seen but can't explain. I'm passing my time, passing the same, passing the blame, left of myself, but right to my name. But my only defense in these abstract ideas are entertainment. My home is a place I must have seen, but can't explain. I just know that I've been home. And I know that I felt once. At some time, at some place, in my distant youth, I cried tenderly, loved intensely. But now I don't think those feelings remember me. My heart feels filled with November leaves tumble by December breeze. April may never come. The groundhog stays in the ground but resides in the sun. I'm a vagabond, not a fugitive, so I don't live on the run. I live on the walk. The type of slow stroll that gives me some time to think, some time to breathe. Just some time to get away from things, but I never seem to come back to things and forget what things I was getting away from and why. Perhaps my things have just died under my bed, or instead they're building strength in a dark cloud over my head. Maybe they won't come to light until I'm older or dead. I'm reminded of what this loner once said. He said, "You're born alone, you die alone." And I believed him, but who would want to lead the non-life that he led? I wasn't born alone. My mother was there. And I won't die alone. The angel of death will be there. But I will be alone before Allah when my book of deeds is disclosed, when my sins are exposed, the dark part of my heart that nobody knows. I won't have the comfort of company, not even the comfort of clothes. I stand naked and nervous before truth. I'm not a hero, and I'm going to die soon, so I may never be a hero and die the death of regular men. This compels me to the road again, running from home to home and back again. I am vagabond. I've yet to learn the secret art of having peace at heart. I take the angst and the anger, make a piece of art. And then I speak it, and I share it, and the peace departs to find its home in the warmth of the people's hearts. If I don't have peace with me, how can I have peace with God? It's all or nothing. You can't worship a piece of God. In fact, the peace of God's a facade, where the secrets are. You worship God, remember God, until you're seeing God. And then you're hearing and you're seeing the being God. And your hands and your feet and the being God. The human being God. Only if the human beings knew who the human beings are, my Lord. I've got a soft spot for widows and killers and orphans and oracles and the saints and the sinners, for prophets and niggas. And every sword is a picture. Every sword is a picture. Every word is a sentence. Every sign is a scripture. This world, this life is mostly lies and fitna. Everything in this world is cursed except for those who remember. So I open the universe and wrote a poem in the center. A post-it note. You hold it close like your coat in the winter. This will make the sky blush and make outer space spasm. Take the head of a devil, turn his castle to a chasm. A 44 magnum within my weirdolasm. Since before Adam and before Adams. A-T-O-M. A-D-A-M. Before BC. A-D. A-M. P-M. Carpe. D-M. T-H-E-M. Wolf Dean. With them. Yes. A spirit I could hear, but I couldn't see him. Said play Madison Square, but I ain't believe him. He said, yo, sell out the garden, straight Adam and evil, and kick out the devil just to make you even. Bye-bye. I'm a dead man walking, a mute man talking, a blind man watching my brothers die. And I've built our coffins much too often. And it gets so dark when our mothers cry. I know more than I want to, but not nearly enough. I thought I was writing for the love, but it just turned to be lust, and my trust in us was gullibility. The reality is just that. I'm not who I was, nor who I will be. But sometimes I feel me visiting, and I fill me with the lush scent of soul, the flavor of feeling, a rush of color. I think the pleasure may kill me. The pressure squeezes and spills me into the language of the unseen, the unthought, and the undreamed. In my heart begins to pump the thick, rich fluid of verse, searching for a simple word or phrase to fill the phase between the wet nurse and the black hearse. And I know sometimes my words lack worth, lack depth, lack girth, lack the distance to travel from heaven to earth, or from mind to brain, or from soul to flesh. I hold my breath and I hollow hope that my hopes ain't hollow. It's just a message in a bottle, or a genie in a bottle, or a baby in the bottle, or wine in his bottle. The symphony of me is stuck in staccato like a broken break beat, breaking the vinyl into bits of blackness, spinning in circles. Come down, selector. Last night the DJ took my life and left the speakers empty and the speakers speechless and the dancers still dancing or not. They don't see our music as musing, merely amusing amusement. How could they know in basement booths we balance the nexus between the soul and the flesh is, where the signs of intellect is? We rock jeans like a necklace and drop jewels in gutters. But they fooled our mothers into thinking that they could raise sons in the darkness of night. But isn't the night always dark before the sun is raised? And when the sun is raised, doesn't it make the block hot? And the eyes squint, and the breath sweat, and the trees grow, and the children play? The raised sun makes the pavement see the wavy apparitions, the mirage of future. But I know I'm a dead man walking, a mute man talking, a blind man watching my brothers die. And I've built our coffins much too often, and it gets so dark when my mothers cry. So now I'm walking a thin line between love and hate, between words that are spoken and beats that break. There's a thin line between a bullet in the chamber and a bullet in the brain. I'm civilized saying the little savage in me. See, I'm a little savage in me, there's a lot of passion in me. And some souls roll out of control without a glass of Remy. And some masters like mine will be enslaved just as long as master's friendly. And others spit fire at master till the map is empty. You don't need the pastor sent me to see the assassin in me, but know that no soul is taken accidentally. The angel of death has an itinerary and snatch you right out of your Bentley, right out of your Gucci jeans, and right out of your Fendi, right out of your dashiki, right out of your Kenti. Allah has written his book and it's going to erase the pen's ink. So why do we ignore what God knows and rely on what men think? We're just boys in the back street trying to get in sync, but my balance is off. My talent is lost. I've married my aunt, but she's barren, of course, and I can hear it, of course, that when they're in divorce. So before I hear him get caught, I may have to kill my dreams and bury the corpse. I shouldn't tear for the loss. I feel like I'm bearing the cross, but my conception is so far from immaculate. For the most part, we're a bunch of bastard kids. Fathers are gone, caught in a cycle of sadomasochists because our lives are dead wrong, but resurrected like Lazarus because our mothers are strong. And our romance is about as romantic as the master's kiss, but we have got to move on. And our lives are about as painful as the master's whip, but we have got to move on. And I wish I could just sing for justice, but I know no such song. I know about Shahada, Sulaiman, Quran, Jihad, martyrdom, and homemade bombs. And shouldn't gonna say I'm wrong for talking about homemade bombs, but a leader of the free world could drop 8 bombs in napalm and got the nerve lion's chest. I come from a line of warriors that take off their iron vest and sheathe their swords and sprint to the thick of the mess. So I am begging them now, send me your best. There's only two possible outcomes. One, I can send them to rest, or they can send me to my Lord. I like the second one the best, but I will kill the killers and live and settle for less, because I'm already a dead man walking, a mute man talking, a blind man watching my brothers die, but I won't build on offense, and I will not take part in the death of my heart's kin. I'd rather die. You know this time that we have, the reason that we've come here, this prophet that we have, and none of us, nor any other people have been gifted a greater blessing. Even just being a human being. Because the reality of Muhammad, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could have been manifested anywhere as anything. As we know, the first thing that Allah created was this reality of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all other creation is only a derivative of this reality. And what a great honor this is, just as an object of creation. Because as an object of creation, no matter what your state, means that you are a derivative of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's nothing that you can ever do to escape from this, except to cease to exist. And what is beyond this is that you're a human being. And of all the creation, that Allah decided to manifest the reality of Muhammad, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he decided to take one of your forms. If his reality manifested as a body of water, all of the seas will rejoice in honor. If his reality was to manifest as a mountain, all of the ranges of the mountain ranges of the world will rejoice in honor. If he came as a tree, then all of the forest, all of the earth would rejoice in honor. How much for us that he came as a human being? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what is beyond this? It's not just as a human being, but he has chosen you to be of his ummah. And the great blessing of being one of his ummah is that you have the great honor and the great knowledge to send prayers upon him. By Allah, there's no words for this. There's no words to describe what great mercy this is. What could you imagine, conjure up in your imagination that you could even ask Allah for beyond this? Like our Sheikh Yahya was describing to us, that our Lady Khadija, radiallahu anha, getting the salam from Allah. How much is it? Did I say Sayyidina Muhammad? Just by virtue of what you just said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, know that Allah sent 10 on you, greeting you like this. And who are we? Who are we? We're nothing. Maybe you do a good thing here and there, maybe. But by virtue of this, we get an honor like Allah gave the honor to our Lady Khadija radiallahu anha. And wouldn't it be more? Wouldn't it be more? And part of me, before even describing it like this, I'm trying to find an appropriate way to describe it. Wouldn't it be more if you could offer salat with Allah. But Allah in the Quran doesn't describe himself as praying Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr. Wouldn't it be enough if you could make Hajj with Allah? Well, Allah doesn't describe himself in the Quran as performing the Hajj. Wouldn't it be enough that you could fast with Allah? But Allah doesn't describe himself as fasting in the Quran. Then how much is it, to great honor is it that Allah says, "Inna Allaha malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi." That Allah saying He and His angels are doing this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and advising us to do it. Because the whole of creation is just the relationship, the whole of creation, the whole of existence, the whole of creation is nothing but a love story. In fact, not even a love story, the whole of creation is one act of love, gesture of love. The means to make creation was the act of making love between the lover, the loving, and his beloved. For this is the first creation, and everything else is filling the space between the lover and his beloved. So how much, like our Sheikh Yahya was saying, to be happy? You are in yourself an act of love. You are an expression of love. Wouldn't it be something if Allah, who has limited resources, there's no limit to his thinking, forgive me even for using this term, there's no limit to anything, and he decides to give his most beloved something. His most beloved something. He says, I created you for me, and I created the world for you. So all the things that Allah could have given to his most beloved, and if you were to give something to your most beloved, it would be the most valuable, the most beautiful, the most precious, whatever you could afford as far as means, and whatever you could pick from, you will pick the best for your beloved. If you're going to go pick flowers for your beloved, will you take the flowers that are no good? If you're going to go buy chocolates for your beloved, wouldn't you spend the most that you could spend on chocolates? Then how much is it an honor for you again? That the gift that he gave to his most beloved is you. Is you. Is you. You are a bouquet of flowers given from the lover to the beloved. You are a box of the most delicious chocolates given from the lover to his beloved. Then how do we show gratitude for this? What do we do for this? At least be sweet, such that when the beloved sees your deeds, hears your deeds, smells your deeds, it's sweet. Because don't think that what you are doing, he is not being informed about. So at least make yourself beautiful for him. If you are a bouquet of flowers, make yourself fragrant. And what is the fragrance of the flower? Salatul Nabi, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala ali Muhammad. Make yourself sweet. What is the sweetness of the chocolate? Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala ali Muhammad. Make yourself fragrant. Make yourself sweet. And this is the least favor you could do, because you have outstripped the mountains, outstripped the seas, outstripped the forests, outstripped the animals, the reality of Muhammad was put into the body of the sons and daughters of Adam. That reality could have been anywhere. The least that you can do, make yourself sweet. Make yourself sweet in your words. Make yourself sweet in your actions. Make yourself sweet with the other petals and the other flowers that are around you. Don't think that this is something for you and not him, and not her, and not he, and not she, and not your mother, and your wife, and your children. Then what just as Sheikh Yahya was saying, the bee doesn't harm the flower. The bee doesn't harm the flower. We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same box. Then make yourself sweet for each other. Make yourself sweet for Allah. And make yourself sweet for Allah. Make yourself sweet for the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. I was going to recite more poems. I'm just going to do one more because I got carried away. She asked, where is the truth hidden? I laughed, not because she asked, but because as I'm living, I'm learning that the truth is hidden everywhere. Literally everywhere. There is is no place you can scour, search, or visit except the truth is in it. The truth is hidden even in the question, where is the truth hidden? In truth, the truth isn't hidden. It can't be hidden. It is the true and living. Those that are seeking to hide the truth try to convince me and you that they hid it, but they didn't. It is not that the truth isn't being spoken, perhaps we are not ready to listen. Certainly we are not ready to listen. And you may be at home in my home, and if not, you may just visit. And if you can't visit, I mean, maybe you shouldn't listen. My poetry isn't for everyone. It's no navy blue Yankee fitted. In fact, it's highly acidic, enough to burn to the mind of a critic. Why be a cynic? When we're moving beyond the speed of light, there is no difference between time and distance. Such I am both here and there in the same instant. For instance, I'm both man and infant, both devil and angel. I am both the witness and the witnessed, both monk and misfit. I am the medicine and this sick. If you would like to know what the truth is, and wrote the answer to the axis of the seven senses, and I told sis, hold this close to your heart until your soul sits still in the summer solstice. She said, I can't keep my soul still, it's hard to hold my focus. She said, I've noticed that I can't seem to focus on any real goals, I can only focus on what's closest. She asked me, how do you know what your goal is? And I said, I don't. How does one save the souls of the soulless? An eviction notice stapled to the heart of the heatless, souls left homeless, no place to reside in, so they hide out and slide in the bodies of two-eyed men. So my lyricism is an exercise in exorcism, but the exoteric call it esotericism. I learned jihad from Rumi. The Sunni call me Shia, the Shia call me Sufi. The feds that have WMDs, what I do with the loose leaf, because what I do with the loose leaf make devils lose sleep. And I don't care who's on whose team. I follow the one who ascended the seven heavens and lands on 2 feet. And it may be too deep, but it is only by his light that you can see through me. And if by his light we have sight, then what is the meaning of day and what is the meaning of night? And now I would like not to say that I'm living at night, but I'm living very late asr. Inna linsana lafi khusr. Rough translation, I'm a loser. I aim to block his light, yet claim to follow his sunnah. The truth is, I wish I could sing, so I could mask the bitter truth with sweet melody. Unfortunately for both you and me, I only know how to speak straight, with direct diction that doesn't allow for mistakes. She said, but you speak so whole while the beat breaks. She said, it's so ill, it's so real. I said, it's so real, but I'm so fake. She said, but you sound so sure. I said, that's the point, I'm not sure. I'm barely afloat in the sea without shore. And if you've seen what I saw, then you will certainly know that certainty without flaw is often delusion and no certainty at all. And when it is certainly certainty, it is like a drunken monk, a man so on his square looking at any moment he will fall, but he never falls. And at that moment she paused and began to recite Vagabond. I was surprised she didn't memorize the whole poem. She said, if I'm a traveler in this world, then where do I find home? I say, just keep your nose to the grindstone. Tell your mind to never mind the unknown. This is why I rhyme like the Spirit of God is in my poem, because in the beginning there was the Word, and before that there was the unheard, the unseen. There is nothing past but the present. There is nothing past the past but the present. Just as the moon begins with the crescent, it seems that way, but in that there is the lesson. The whole moon's always present. 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 Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you very much for your time.